Welcome back to Real Takes, where we are all movie love all the time. And I just got an email. We're rocking it at the old school setup here today because I'm jumping in quickly on the run to wish a very happy birthday to Barry Jenkins, Scorpio filmmaker extraordinaire. We've already talked about Barry Jenkins a couple times on Real Takes. We did a whole episode on Moonlight, which I'll link to below. And then we talked around James Baldwin's birthday about if Beale Street could talk. And so, we're just going to keep talking about him because he's one of my favorite filmmakers working today. And I love how he brings together all the creative elements of cinema and the whole is greater than the sum of its parts with him, but each part is also stunningly beautiful. So then the whole is kind of this magical cinematic experience that I sort of can't get enough of. And I really consider Barry Jenkins to be like a quintessential Scorpio artist. And in fact, it's funny because, I can usually, with all the signs and the filmmakers we've talked about, I can tie in some way their sign to their filmmaking. But with the Scorpio artists, it's like so clear. Like the films Julian Schnabel makes, the films Celine Sciamma makes, the films Martin Scorsese makes, like you can see the Scorpio-ness all over them. But in particular, with Barry Jenkins, this ability to go deep into painful, difficult, heart-wrenching experiences and come out the other side with something more beautiful and redemptive is really rooted in the Scorpio experience. So obviously, if you haven't seen Moonlight or if Beale Street could talk, please see those films. But I'll just mention his first feature-length film is called Medicine for Melancholy, and it's an almost black and white film set in San Francisco, exploring race, class, and gentrification through the lens of two people who spend a day together after having a one-night stand in San Francisco. And they shot it, I think, for less than $100,000. I think they shot it in something like 10 days. And it's a lovely little first film set in San Francisco. There have been some great films that have been made in San Francisco over the last 5 or 6 years, and this is definitely one of them. And this is the film that connected him with the possibility of directing Moonlight, which of course exploded his filmmaking possibilities. And then the other thing to check out is The Underground Railroad, which is actually a limited series based on the book The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. It's 10 episodes. Some of them are very short, some of them are longer than an hour, some of them are 45 minutes to an hour, so it's about 10 hours. And it explores it follows a woman as she is trying to escape the antebellum South. She's escaping slavery, and there's a white slave hunter who is obsessed with finding her. And there's a magical realism element to the storytelling, which is sort of perfect for Barry Jenkins' style because he's such a visual filmmaker, and he already brought a sort of dream-like, emotionally meditative quality to the stories he was telling. So then to actually have a magical realism element, I think gave him a window to sort of take all of what he'd been exploring visually to a new level. It's I use a lot of superlatives on the show because I'm all movie love all the time. It's hard to talk about what an achievement The Underground Railroad is. It's a towering achievement that he told this story, that he dug into it so deeply, that he didn't try to shave away from it to make it more accessible, that he went completely into the pain and the suffering and the level of uncertainty and terror and the depths of the pain, and again came out the other side with something beautiful. And you know, I don't think it's for me to say healing, because I'm not sure, I don't think I'm the target audience for the healing in this, for this piece of work, but definitely coming out the other side with more possibility than we went in with. It's beautiful. And I also want to say that that series was the first time I'd encountered the work of Tuso Mbedu, who is the star of the series, and I was left speechless by her work, her presence, her naturalism, her commitment. Like, I just felt like I never saw her working, and I kind of forgot she was an actress in a series. And she is now the star of The Woman King with Viola Davis, and I felt the same way about her in The Woman King. So I just can't wait to see everything Tuso Mbedu is going to do over the coming years. So the Underground Railroad, not for the faint of heart. There are a lot of people who talked about whether or not they could handle it. I will say that the first episode is the hardest. It's not that the rest is easy, but once you're through the first episode, you can keep going. But an incredible creative cinematic gift from Barry Jenkins. And we've talked before about a couple of things. One, that he has a team that he works with regularly. So James Laxton has been his cinematographer since his student film Finding Josephine in film school in Florida, and he's been a cinematographer on everything. And then Nicholas Britell is the composer that he's worked with on everything since Moonlight. So he has this team that he works with, and they're, you know, it's really a testament to what it means when you can build these creative working relationships. And one of his signature things that we've talked about before is the gaze, where characters of his look directly at the camera, which doesn't usually happen in, you know, narrative feature-length cinema. And it's a very particular experience within the storytelling, and part of what brings such an immediacy to his work is this thing of the gaze. And with the Underground Railroad, he took it to the next level, and he shot many actors in the 10-hour series looking directly at the camera, including background actors who didn't even have lines, people playing slaves, all kinds of characters looking directly at the camera. And then he made a separate film that you can stream online called The Gaze, of all these characters looking directly into the camera. So it's this way that he's challenging us within the work and reaching out directly to us, that's so powerful and moving. So lots of work coming down the pike from Barry Jenkins. He's actually making Mufasa the Lion King, the next iteration of the Lion King, a sequel. I think I don't keep up on the Lion King, but it's a sequel for Disney. And then he has an Alvin Ailey project in the works, and I will be seeing everything Barry Jenkins does because I love his work. So I'll probably be talking about him in the future. And happy birthday, Barry Jenkins. Thank you so much for your beautiful commitment and all these gifts that you've given us that are so deep and rich and true. and I look forward to more. And if you've seen any of this work, please comment below. And if you haven't, please go watch it and then come back and comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next Wednesday.